So Lou Dobbs has a show on Fox Business. Now, funny, for a channel called Fox Business, they don't really actually talk about business. Now, following the Mueller report, Dobbs went on a strange rant suggesting that Donald Trump was sent here by God. Take a look at this.
But I would contend with this report, the president has more time, and I know it's not what he would have wished for the last 2 years of his first term, as there will be a second one. If I had my way, there'd be a third one. But he has a chance to still expose even more the corrupt nature of the swamp, of the left in general, and now, unfortunately, of the Democratic Party.
I don't know if I would say, unfortunately, because they've been at it for a very long time.
That's true.
Their corruption is complete. It is permeates the party, its leadership, and there should be an accounting. This is a war, and you know what? The president likes to call it a hoax, but this was a conspiracy to overthrow the president of the United States.
He was being framed.
And this is bad stuff, and to your point, any other person in the White House would have folded up like a cheap lawn chair amongst the last several presidents.
He is the right person, and this is with Nation has seen this many times, about 3 or 4 times. And that's why this is a moment in history, as it was with Washington and as it was with Lincoln and Reagan and now here, is the right person at the right time for the right reasons.
Yeah. Pastor Robert Jeffress always talks about this president. God sent this president. He is a person of providence. And I'll tell you, the evidence is accumulating mightily to support the pastor's view.
And this.
Wow, man. Wow. Fox Business basically going full theocrat right there. Jesus, man. I guess literally. I love how Tammy Bruce, that's the contributor there, the female, is part of something called the Independent Women's Voice. Maybe they call it independent because she's probably the only one. She is literally independent. No, look, this is complete insanity, right? Now, of course, joining in that insanity with the two of them was Michelle Bachmann, who also said the same thing last week. Now, if you want to know the minds of hardcore evangelicals and why they support Donald Trump and why they won't turn on him, that's why. It doesn't matter what he did. It doesn't matter who he lied to, how many times he lied, or what happens. The answer to that is, well, God works in mysterious ways. And God put Donald Trump there for a reason, so we have to support him. And because God sent the president, if you are against the president, and this is what makes it dangerous, if you're against the president, then who are you against? Well, you're obviously against God. Now, I don't know if Lou Dobbs really believes that, but I know who watches that. Donald Trump is one of Dobbs' biggest fans. In fact, he allows Dobbs to call in to the White House in certain policy meetings. So, ooh, boy. Now, the implication here is, of course, clear. What he says is, well, the liberals are launching a conspiracy to remove Donald Trump. And this was part of it. Quote, not just a conspiracy to remove Trump, to, quote, overthrow the president of the United States. Those are his exact words. So that's the framing here. And that framing is incredibly dangerous. Here you have somebody saying this entire thing is a way to overthrow the president of the United States. That makes it sound like there's an invasion force or some sort of coup. And look, he's not the only one that's used that kind of language. They have actually called it an actual coup on the United States. And so this is what we're dealing with. I'm very, very concerned that this will lead to a not peaceful transition of power. Now, whether or not Donald Trump gets impeached successfully and removed from office through that impeachment proceeding, I think it's not very likely. High-ranking Democrats are way too scared of the Republican base, of the right-wing response. And look, watching this, I guess I could kind of understand that. But there's also the possibility that he will not give up power if he loses the election. If Trump loses to a Bernie Sanders or to be incredibly unfair to her, Kamala Harris, for example, I'm afraid that Donald Trump will not be willing to go because he watches this stuff and he says, "Oh yeah. Oh, I was sent here by God. Oh yes." Well, obviously, if they try to, if they win the election, so-called win the election, it's not actually a win. They never actually won. No. And he's already sown the seeds of this one. They cheated to win. They cheated. The undocumented immigrants came in and they voted the illegal election. And so I'm super, super afraid. Again, and here you also heard Tammy Bruce, right, saying, I hope Trump gets a third term. I hope Trump gets a third term. Which, again, if I had it my way, he would get a third term. Tie it back to where you were, and I remember showing you guys this video where there was that Trump supporter that said, I want Trump to be a dictator. I've never wanted a dictator before in my life, but if we're going to have a dictator, I want it to be Donald Trump. This is what they believe, man. This is all part of that same language the far right, the extreme right, is using. And I am super, super concerned. And I think anybody who cares about democracy, look, we've already had in these last few years, not Democrats, like small d democratic norms destroyed, crushed under Trump. So if you don't think that this could happen, that he could just refuse to leave and continue to stay in power, if you're not worried now, I would be. I would be. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.